So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are, guys. So, Gervonta Davis has just knocked out Rolando Romero or Rolly in 6th round. Good performance. Actually, it was pretty dull. There wasn't much happening in the fight. I actually think Gervonta Davis didn't look too good until that knockout shot in the 6th round, and he wiped him out. Rolly seemed a bit novice-y. It looked like, throwing a few wild punches. He did okay with his physicality and, he was a bit awkward in there, but, he lacks, in my opinion, the serious fundamentals to be a top fighter. And it's kind of like a matter of time. His chin was up in the air, and it seemed like a matter of time before Davis was going to hit him with something that was going to hurt him. Just because of, like I said, he just lacks the fundamentals that a top fighter needs. And someone like Gervonta Davis, who can hit hard, was always going to end the night in that way. What did you make of this, man?
Yeah, it was just a dull fight until obviously Davis knocked him out. Really, they were just feeling each other out. There wasn't much in it, but
I think they even had Rolly ahead. Rolly was ahead in the fight.
Maybe,
the
but I just think Tank obviously knew that he was eventually, because obviously Rolly's so novice, he was eventually going to get caught. And personally, I don't even think Tank connected on him properly, to be honest. I think he just timed him. He seen the mistake, and he just timed him. Because I think if Tank had actually connected on him, like how he connected on Santa Cruz, I think Rolly would have been out cold. And he was so bad just with that shot. Tank came out in the post-fight, so I didn't even let that punch go hard. I just timed him, literally. And it was a dull fight. But I don't think Tank was losing the rounds intentionally. Because Rolly was that great. I think that was his game plan, to just time him onto one, because he knew that in 12 rounds he was going to connect, and he can, because he just makes too many mistakes at Rolly, and you can't make those fundamental mistakes when you're in there with someone like Tank, because if he hits you clean, you're going to be on the deck, and when you're on the deck, he knows how to close the show. And it's good that the referee, like a lot of other fighters in that position, the referee probably would have given them a second chance, but it's good that he didn't, because I think that would have ended horribly wrong if he did, because Davis could have landed we don't know what he could have landed, but after that he might have landed something which would have just completely finished him. So yeah, it's good the referee seen that he didn't have no legs under him and just waved it off after that first knockdown.
Is it a case now where we need to see Gervonta Davis fight some real competition? He's been fighting these guys, like Rolando Romero, really, that are not top tier competition. We need to see him step up now and fight some of the top guys in the division. What do you make of? Who do you want to see him fight next?
The only guys that I would like to see him fight next are probably Haney, and probably Garcia. But even with that, I think Garcia's makes too many mistakes, and eventually Tank will time him as well, the same way he did Rolly. And you got to realize Rolly's a lot bigger than Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia's skinny. I think that's a horrible fight for Ryan Garcia, to be honest.
Yeah, but Ryan Garcia is a lot better. He's a lot more dangerous than Rolly. He throws punches and he's technically much better.
Yeah, but I think if he's too reckless in there with Tank, how he is. The thing is, a lot of fighters, when they fight Tank, aren't as reckless, because they know if he lands one, it's game over. So I don't think Ryan will be as reckless. I think Ryan will be very cautious, how Rolly was, because he knows that if this guy connects one, the fight's over. Because if Ryan goes down, it's not going to be like Luke Campbell, where he's not. Davis will finish the job, most likely. But I'd rather see the Devin Haney fight. I think that's more competitive, because I think Devin Haney's a better boxer. And I personally think if Tank connects on Haney, I don't know how Haney's legs would go as well. From that Jorge Linares situation, if that was someone in there that had more killer instinct and that could close the show, how that fight gone down the later end, we don't know. So I think that's a great fight, Haney versus Davis, and I think Davis will press the action against Haney because Haney can't punch. So if he can't punch, he would literally have to neutralize Tank for 12 rounds without getting caught with a big one. And it's not even just about getting caught with a big one. Then you've got to be able to recover whilst he's going to throw a barrage of punches. So I wouldn't mind seeing the Teofimo fight as well. I wouldn't mind seeing all these fights, but obviously because Teofimo's lost, I'd rather see him fight the winner of Haney Kambosos or Ryan Garcia, to be honest. I think the Devin Haney Gervonta Davis is a brilliant fight. That's a 50-50 fight in my eyes because I think Devin Haney's a good boxer. But with Garcia, I think Tank would beat Garcia, to be honest. I would pick him as a big favourite. But with Haney, I think that's a 50-50 because Haney's a good boxer. I think Haney's the best out of the bunch. Out of Teofimo, Garcia, I think Haney's the best of the crop. But if Kambosos can obviously beat Haney next week, which I don't think many people think Kambosos is going to win, to be honest.
It's not next week, is it? It's June the 11th, is it?
No, it's next week, June the 5th. So if I personally think Haney will win that. I think Haney will outbox Kambosos, to be honest. And then, yeah, it creates that mega fight. Whether it'll happen, I don't know, but it should happen. It should happen. Or if it doesn't happen, then I wouldn't mind seeing the Ryan Garcia fight versus Tank. I think that'd be a good fight, a good shootout. And I'll do good numbers as well, for sure.
So let me just, the sun's ruining our video. Let's transfer to that room. Come on, let's transfer to that room over there. Because our sun's ruining our video, so we're just gonna move to the other room just because the sun is absolutely ruining it. So we're gonna have to move now. Let's call it here. So let's just get this sorted, and yes, get this sorted and get this here. It's much better, much better. There you go. All right. So we've transferred here now. So the sun don't ruin our video. A minute, guys. All right. So in terms of that performance, I wasn't too impressed, man. I thought Tank's performance was pretty average. You know, I thought he's shown in certain fights where he doesn't look that impressive. Like he lands a big punch and wipes somebody out, but does he look that impressive when he's boxing? I don't think he looks that impressive. Like Rolly looked pretty, you know, technically pretty poor, and you could say that the fight was pretty even, or even he was ahead up until up until he basically stopped him. So I think Tank's got a lot to work on, because what you got to realize, there's a lot of better fighters out there than Rolly, technically more sound, more dangerous. So I think Gervonta Davis can be outboxed, and that's not a good. So someone like Haney could be a problem.
Yeah.
Someone like
that's why I said I think that would be a 50-50 fight, because Haney, because of his boxing skills, could potentially outbox Tank. That's why I think that's a great fight.
Yeah, but the problem is like that power is like, yeah, the power's all right against certain opposition, but the power, against Gamboa, he couldn't get him. He got him out of there in the last round. Didn't one of his fights, Cruz went the distance with him. So really, he hasn't even fought a top lightweight yet. And he fought Cruz, and really a lot of people thought he lost against Cruz. Some people thought he lost against Cruz. And that was a close fight against a better lightweight. So is Gervonta Davis a case where is Gervonta Davis even that good?
To be honest, I think he is good. Like for example, Ryan Garcia didn't look good in his last fight against Tego. So you got to realize, until these guys get in, we won't know really how good they really are. But the thing is, personally, I've always, with the Garcia one, I don't think Garcia is fundamentally sound either. So I personally think...
Yeah, but Garcia is not really a top lightweight for me.
Yeah, but those are the guys that they're saying that they want to see him in with.
Like,
Garcia.
if you look at someone, if you get Teofimo in there, that might be a different fight. Teofimo at his best, even Kambosos might be a problem for Gervonta Davis. Because Kambosos got a good chin and he's fast and he can outwork Tank. Haney let's see how Haney gets on with Kambosos. You know, some people think Kambosos is going to beat Haney. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about Gervonta Davis. I'm not too high on him yet. I think he doesn't look as like in these type of fights, even against some C-level opposition that he's been fighting. He's not exactly look $1 million. You know what I mean? He's not exactly look like this fight against Rolly. I don't think he looked good at all, to be honest. I thought he looked terrible. Apart from the knockout, which we obviously know he's got power, but apart from that, how did he look good in that fight? I thought he looked terrible. He didn't do a lot, you know, and he just landed a big shot, but against a guy that was technically very flawed. You know, had his chin up in the air, and it's just a matter of time before, you know, Davis was going to land something. But prior to that, he was looking pretty poor.
Yeah, it was a dull fight. It was a dull fight. I've seen better Tank fights, to be honest. I think the Barrios fight was a way better fight.
But even in that fight, he was probably down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this guy is losing. He's losing, and then he's having tough fights with Isaac Cruz and stuff. Like, you know, these aren't top tier opposition. These are opposition that he should be beating comfortably.
I disagree. I think Isaac Cruz is top competition.
Yeah, but he barely scraped by that fight.
I don't think so. I think
he scraped by. He scraped by, man. He scraped. That's it. Still scraping by. That's around here and there. You know what I mean? It's a scraping by type of performance. It's not like he was emphatic. You know, it's not emphatic against lower level opposition. It's not high level opposition. Yeah, Isaac Cruz, it might be. You know, there's a lot of Isaac Cruz. Is he a top lightweight? I don't know. You know, I don't know. Like, you know, he might not be even top 5. So there might be many guys out there that beat him. So the point is Cruz is a tough test, but the point I'm trying to make is not just Cruz. It's every fight Gervonta Davis is struggling, really. Like Barrios, he didn't look that great, right? Against, you know, this fight up until the knockout. But what I'm saying is eventually there are people out there that are going to be able to take his power. If he goes to 140, those guys like Regis Prograis would be a problem. You know, big guy, you know what I mean? Very good boxer, and he can take a punch. You know, Tank's power is not going to affect those bigger guys, you know? I think he could be in trouble.
Yeah, but I don't think he should. I don't think Tank's that big to move up to 140, to be honest. I think 135 is... Like, look, Rolly looked way bigger than him today. I think Tank could even make 130, you know?
I think Regis Prograis would cook Tank. He would cook him. I think he would knock him out. I don't think he wants that kind of smoke. You know, I
don't think personally he's a 140 pounder, to be honest, at all. I think at 135 he looks small, let alone 140. I think he should fight at 130, 135 to get the best out of himself. I think the more you move up eventually, as you said, the bigger guys can take your power, you know. So I would personally stay at 130, 135, because if you're not that big, or he's a small guy, he's not a big guy, even at 130, right? He doesn't look that big. He just looks normal like the rest. Like Shakur Stevenson's bigger than, in my opinion, looks bigger than someone like Tank, and he fights at 130.
That's another guy that I forgot to mention. I think he would box Tank's ears off. I think he would beat Gervonta Davis easily. Like, I don't even think that would be a fight, to be honest. I think he'd beat him comfortably. I'm not that sold on Gervonta Davis. I think he's a big puncher, but I think he's not technically the greatest, and I think someone like Stevenson would take him apart. I don't think like what you got to realize is your punch isn't going to win you all the time. You know, we've seen that before with punches, Wilder and all sorts. That eventually there will be someone that outclasses you, and Shakur Stevenson would beat Gervonta Davis. I'm not that high on Gervonta Davis, like people putting him on the pound for pound list. He's beaten not many top guys. You know, he hasn't fought many top guys. I think he gets beat by just Shakur and some of the top boxers, like maybe even Haney or Kambosos. I think he gets beat. I don't think he's the top lightweight in the world. I don't know how people say he's the best lightweight in the world. Where do they get that from? How can you say he's the best lightweight in the world? He doesn't look impressive, man. Like, yeah, he's knocking guys out, but you know, who's he knocking out really when you think about it? He's not knocked out one top tier guy at 135. You know, even Cruz, right, gave him a life and death fight, really. You know, that was that's the only real fighter that he fought that was really, you could say, was a test. And by the way, when he fought him, a lot of people thought it was a cherry pick.
Yeah.
And that turned out to be a very tough fight.
No, it wasn't a cherry pick for sure. I think Cruz is a great fighter.
But not at the time that he fought him. People didn't think that.
Yeah, because obviously no one knew who Cruz was. But I'd already seen highlights of Cruz before that fight, and I had seen his boxing ability, and I knew that, that this guy's got fast hands. Seems like he's got a bit of power. I thought it was going to be a good fight. But yeah, probably Tank needs to step up the opposition now, because the thing is, knocking these guys out, right? It's not really gonna propel him into anything. He's gonna have to fight, who's available really. And I personally think he needs to fight someone now where people are gonna be like, this is a 50-50. I don't think many people picked Romero to win, to be honest. And it's not really a good sign. You need to be in there with fights in fights where it's going to be 50-50. So I think he needs to, probably needs to step up now and, fight the top guys. Maybe even move down and try to become undisputed at 130. Because he's got to fight. He's got to fight fights now where people think this could be a good fight. Like Shakur fight. Like, people will think that's a great fight. Like Shakur even said that's a great fight at 130. To become undisputed, that would be a wicked fight. But whether these fights materialize, I don't know. I don't think Davis is scared, but I think he, as you said, he probably needs to start taking control of his own career and probably leave Mayweather, to be honest. Because I think if he leaves Mayweather, right, and just kind of does his own thing, I think that'll probably serve him better in terms of getting.
You think he will leave Mayweather?
I don't know. I don't think so. Because I think Leonard Ellaby and Floyd Mayweather will probably lure him in to sign back with them. And obviously, I just can't see him. I can't see, like, for example, Ryan Garcia. I don't think that fight's ever going to be made if Tank's with Showtime. And because I just don't think DAZN and Showtime can work together. Ryan Garcia would have to come to Showtime, or Davis would have to go to DAZN and fight on DAZN. And I don't think Mayweather and Leonard Ellaby are going to allow Gervonta Davis to go fight unless there's guys that they are like at 140, 135 that with PBC and Showtime that can give him a fight. As you said, probably Regis Prograis. Those fights could happen because I don't even think Regis Prograis is with PBC. He's with Probellum now. So these fights aren't going to happen. I don't know who after this fight. Who does Tank really fight? Pitbull rematch? I don't know who he can fight. I don't know who he can fight. I can't see these fights happening. If he signs back with Mayweather, it's just going to be like this, Rolly, fighters like that. And I can't see, you're not really building your legacy that way. Because these fights you're expected to win. You need to be in 50-50 fights, where you could lose or you could win, And that's where you show you're great. But I don't know what's going to happen with Tank, but I want the good fights now. I would love to see him in there with anyone. Teofimo, Lomachenko. No one's mentioning Lomachenko. Haney, Shakur Stevenson, any of those guys. Just a top tier guy where people think it's a 50-50. Because then, he can get a chance to prove why he's a great fighter. Because beating these guys, you're not really proving anything, really. That's just what I think, but we'll have to wait and see. Until he gets in there with one of those guys, those top tier guys, we're never going to really know how good Tank is, in my opinion. We can only judge him on these fights, against Rolly, Pedraza, Santa Cruz, Pitbull, and fights like that. We can't really, because he needs to fight a fight where they can take his punches and it's going to be back and forth. But we'll have to wait and see. Because I think styles make fights, like for example, the Haney fight, I think Tank will press a lot more. Because he knows Haney can't punch, so he'll look to, take it to him a lot more. But, we need to see these. This is why we need to see these fights, because we need to see can Tank adjust. Because, there's going to be fighters out there that have better boxing ability than him, like Shakur, like Haney, like Lomachenko. But that's where we need to see, can he land those haymakers? Is he just basically just all knockout power and no boxing skills, or can he find a way to beat those? Find a way to beat those guys that are more technically gifted. Because if he can beat those guys that are more technically gifted, then it goes to show that he's got the ability to do it. But until he does it, we can't really, as you said, you're correct. You can't really be sold too highly. He's doing what he needs to do against these level of opposition. He's got to fight. He's got to fight a big fight next. Garcia, Teofimo, Lomachenko. Haney, Cambosis, any of those guys. He needs to get in there now and fight those guys, because these are the guys that are, you know, that people think are the best. So until he goes in there, beats them, right? And I think he has a chance. I think he beats Garcia. I think he can beat Teofimo, right? I think Devin Haney's a 50-50, Shakur's a 50-50. Lomachenko, don't know what's going on with his situation, whether he's even boxing anytime soon. But, you know, fight the other guys, other top guys that are out there, you know, in big fights. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But if he re-signs with Mayweather, unfortunately, I don't think the big fights are going to happen, to be honest, because networks get involved. Like the Garcia fight, Garcia was offered the fight with Tank, but, you know, Oscar De La Hoya said there needs to be something. He can be on Showtime, but it needs to be on DAZN as well. And Showtime don't want that. Showtime and PBC want 100%, you know, of the full fight. They don't want it to be on DAZN and all this sort of stuff. So it's going to be tough, but we'll just have to wait and see now. Because now his career's come to a halt. Like, on who's he going to fight? Who's he going to fight now? There's no one out there. You can't keep fighting these guys. Because he's got the, I don't know whether it's a regular title or the WBA title. I don't know what title he's got. Has he even got a proper title? Is this the proper?
No, he hasn't got no title.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not even got the full-fledged title. So it's a regular belt. So yeah, he's got to start fighting someone now. He's got to start fighting someone where we think that this can be a 50-50 fight. Otherwise, it's just wasting your career, really. Wasting your in prime days. If you look at it, because you're fighting all these guys in your prime, but he needs to fight the top tier guys for us to see how good he really is.
Guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Gervonta Davis brutally knocks out Rolando Romero, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys. Take care.